少女前線
The Type 64 SMG, also known as Sochun in Project Neural Cloud, is a 2-star SMG that is available from construction, from stage drops on Stage 2-4E onwards, and as a career reward for clearing Stage 1-3, giving the player a Type 64 at level 10 with 2 dummy links. The Type 64 SMG was originally designed by Norinco for silent and stealthy operations, being adopted into service in 1964. It was eventually replaced by the Type 85 SMG in the 1980s, with the 64 still being used for Special Forces missions. Some 64s were exported to the North Vietnamese Army for use during the Vietnam War, with the Chinese using them during the Sino-Vietnamese War. The Type 64 is realistically an amalgamation of multiple different firearms, as it has the bolt of a PPS-43, the trigger group of a ZB VZ-26, the receiver of an AKS-74, and fires 7.62mm Tokarev through an integrally suppressed barrel. The Type 64 is an open-bolt, blowback-operated SMG, which fires the 7.62 by 25mm Tokarev cartridge from 20 to 30 round magazines, at a fire rate of 1,000 to 1,300 rounds per minute, out to a range of 150 to 200 meters. Inner base character art drawn by Zhao Di, 64 wears a light green button-up shirt with red patches on the collar, a red armband on her upper left arm with a Chinese character on it, green headset with red star on the ear cups, a khaki magazine satchel and green canteen slung over her left shoulder, smaller pouches around her waist, camo skirt with white interior, black thigh highs with 64 at the top, black knee pads, steel-toed leather boots, black fingerless gloves, and a magazine as a hair tie. She holds her Type 64 in her right hand, finger off the trigger, and stock extended. In her voice lines, voiced by Horigome Saya, who also voices Cleveland, Columbia, and Erebus in Azure Lane, 64 enjoys tea and quiet.
私が来ましたよ。指揮官、おはようございます。お茶入れました。飲みますか？静かに出発しましょう。みんなの休憩を邪魔しちゃいけません。指揮官がいるなら多めに入れますよ。指揮官、あまり物音を立てないでください。静かが一番です。準備できましたよ。静かにしてください、指揮官。おとなしくしないと反撃しますよ。
Like some SMGs, 64's main role is stunning enemies for a short period of time. Her singular tile buffs 1 AR, giving them plus 20% rate of fire. She's best placed on tiles 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, or 9. At level 10, 64's first skill, Stun Grenade, has 64 throw a flashbang that stuns enemies within a 2.5 unit radius for 3.2 seconds. If she has her high-performance camouflage exoskeleton equipped, enemies stunned by the flashbang will lose all beneficial stat modifications and HP shield effects. This has a 5-second ICD and 16-second NCD. When fully linked, enhanced, and level 100, base 64 has 176 HP per link for a total of 880, consumes 85 ammo and 60 rations, deals 27 damage, has 65 evasion, 11 accuracy, 93 rate of fire, 12 move speed, a 5% crit rate, and deals 150% damage on a crit. The recommended equipment for base 64 is her spec, the High Performance Camo Exoskeleton, which was available as a login reward in 2023, but I believe maybe currently or will be available through the Gray Zone in the future, 5-star HP ammo, and 5-star suppressor. This gives her plus 15 damage, plus 40 evasion, plus 20% crit rate, but minus 7 armor pen. To fully mod 64, she'll need 60 dummy cores, 2000 mem frags, 100 affection for all mod levels, and to be level 100 for mod 1, 110 for mod 2, and 115 for mod 3. This takes roughly 11 days of grinding the advanced memfrag combat sim for memfrags alone. though it can be shorter if there's a rate up. Her rarity goes to 4 stars when modded. In her mod art, drawn by the same artist, 64's outfit is mostly the same as before. The only notable changes are that she has untucked her shirt, has elbow pads, her skirt is now black, she has thigh highs on, her boots are replaced by green shoes, and she now has a camo cape with red star over the shoulder on top of it all. When fully modded, 64's singular tile now gives plus 24% rate of fire to 1 AR. Her stats are raised to 181 HP per link for a total of 905, she deals 28 damage, has 70 evasion, 12 accuracy, and 93 rate of fire. Her first skill now stuns enemies for 4 seconds. 64's second skill, Silencing Flash, at level 10, the thrown flashbang will also reduce the accuracy of enemies hit by it for 8 seconds. Enemies immune to stuns are also affected. The recommended equipment for modded 64 are her specs: the high-performance camo exoskeleton, as previously mentioned, the Type 64 exclusive suppressor, which 64 gets when she reaches mod 3, and the Type 64 signal flare, which is available from the gray zone. This gives her plus 45 evasion, plus 20 accuracy, plus 20% crit chance, a buff to her first skill, and plus 20% echelon accuracy. When she has all 3 specs equipped at mod 3, she gains the equipment set bonus Rainforest Adventure. Her flashbangs are enhanced to stun all non-boss units. At the start of the battle, 10 64 dummy projections will appear randomly. Each projection can be damaged 5 times before vanishing. After vanishing, the projection inflicts 3% vulnerability on all enemies for 20 seconds. To get it out of the way, base Type 64 is bad, as you'd expect for a 2-star. A generic stun grenade skill, bad tiles and tile buffs, and low stats make her an easy pass for using, even if you get her for free when you clear stage 1-3. The only redeeming feature she has is equipping her with her exoskeleton spec, which removes enemy buffs and HP shields, but it's still a pretty easy pass. Her mod, on the other hand, might be worth looking into. Sure, it's much of the same, with her tiles and first skill not getting much of an improvement, while her second skill just reduces enemies' accuracy, but the spec set bonus, along with the exoskeleton first skill buff, makes it pretty interesting. The exoskeleton, as I just mentioned, removes all buffs and HP shields an enemy has, while the set bonus has free targets for enemies to aim at that inflict vulnerability when they go down. Not to mention, her stuns now affect all non-boss units. Might be useful for some later game enemies, but I wouldn't see her being used too much in more recent events. Overall, medium to maybe medium high priority to build, but that's only if you get her to mod 3, have her exoskeleton spec, and equip it with all of her other specs to get that set bonus. Thank you for watching. Please follow my Twitter and Blue Sky for updates, and please check out my other Arknights and Azure Lane videos as well.